When the Ottoman Empire began to grow in the late Middle Ages, Jewish communities were already living in many parts of the region. These areas included Anatolia, the Balkans, and the Eastern Mediterranean. These Jews were not new settlers. Many of their families had lived there for hundreds of years, going back to the time of the Byzantine Empire. As the Ottomans took control of new lands, they also became the rulers of these long-established Jewish communities. The Ottoman Empire was huge. It stretched across parts of southeastern Europe, Anatolia, and much of the Middle East, and it lasted until the end of World War I. This empire is very important in Jewish history because, while Jews were being attacked, forced to convert, or expelled from many places in Western Europe, Ottoman lands were often much safer for them. Under Ottoman rule, Jews and Christians were known as Dhimmi. This meant they were non-Muslims living under Islamic law. Being Dhimmi came with limits. Jews had to pay special taxes and follow rules about clothing, weapons, and public religious events. These rules were not always enforced the same way everywhere. Even with these limits, Jews were allowed to practice their religion, live in their own communities, and manage many of their own affairs. One important system that shaped daily life was the Millet system. Instead of forcing everyone to live the same way, the Ottoman government organized people by religion. Jewish communities were mostly self-governing. They ran their own schools, courts, and charities. The main Jewish leader, called the Hakim Bashi, spoke to the Ottoman rulers on behalf of the Jewish people. Compared to how Jews were treated in many Christian countries at the same time, this system offered more freedom and safety. A major change happened at the end of the 1400s. In 1492, Jews were expelled from Spain, and soon after from Portugal. Thousands of Jewish families suddenly lost their homes. While many European countries refused to accept them, the Ottoman Empire welcomed them. Sultan Bayezid II encouraged these refugees to settle in Ottoman cities, because he knew they brought useful skills, education, and experience. These refugees were called Sephardic Jews. They settled in many cities, including Istanbul, Salonica, Jerusalem, Safed, Damascus, and Cairo. Salonica became one of the most important Jewish cities in the world, and eventually had a Jewish majority. Istanbul had tens of thousands of Jewish residents and many synagogues. Safed became famous as a center of Jewish learning and religious study. By the late 1500s, the Ottoman Empire had the largest Jewish population in the world. Jews played an important role in the empire's economy. They worked as merchants, doctors, craftsmen, translators, bankers, and diplomats. Because the Ottomans were often at war with Christian states, Jewish communities were sometimes seen as more neutral and trustworthy partners. Some Jews reached very high positions. Jewish doctors treated the sultans, and Jewish bankers helped manage government money. One well-known figure, Joseph Nasi, was even made governor of the island of Naxos. Jewish printers also brought new printing technology, which made it easier to produce books, religious texts, and official papers. Jewish life inside the empire was not always peaceful. The Jewish population included different groups, such as Romaniote, Sephardic, and Ashkenazi Jews. Each group had its own customs, and disagreements sometimes happened. In the 1600s, a man named Sabbatai Zevi claimed to be the Messiah. When Ottoman officials arrested him, he chose to convert to Islam instead of being executed. This shocked Jewish communities and caused serious divisions. After the Ottomans conquered Constantinople, they ordered people from across the empire, including Jews, to move there so the city could be rebuilt. Many Jews felt this was unfair, but over time, Constantinople became one of the most important Jewish centers in the empire. Jewish communities were also active in trade and manufacturing. In cities like Salonica, Jews played a major role in the textile industry. However, diseases such as the plague sometimes spread through these busy port cities, causing great suffering and loss. Life under Ottoman rule was not always calm. During times of war and political trouble, violence broke out. After the Ottomans defeated the Mamluks in 1517, Jewish communities in places like Safed and Hebron were attacked. Later conflicts between local groups also caused damage to Jewish towns. Even with these hardships, many historians see the Ottoman period as one of the more stable times in Jewish history. Jews were not treated as equals under the law, but they often had more safety, opportunity, and independence than Jews living in much of Europe at the same time. This long period shaped Jewish culture, work, and religious life in lasting ways. As time moved into the 18th and 19th centuries, conditions slowly began to change. Jewish influence in the Ottoman Empire started to weaken. In earlier centuries, many Jews had important roles in trade and finance. Over time, many of these roles were taken over by Greek merchants, who had strong connections with Western Europe. Because of this, Jewish economic power declined in many places. Still, some Jews continued to stand out. One example was Daniel de Fonseca, a chief court doctor who also played a role in politics. He was respected inside and outside the empire, and even European thinkers like Voltaire wrote about him. He also helped with diplomatic talks involving the King of Sweden. Jewish communities did not all think the same way about their future. Some believed strongly in loyalty to the Ottoman state, and thought Jews should see themselves first as Ottoman citizens. Others were drawn to new ideas, including early Zionism. Emanuel Karasu from Salonica, for example, supported the Young Turk movement and believed Jews could be loyal Ottomans while keeping their Jewish identity. Life for Jews depended greatly on where they lived. In Baghdad, Jews remained important in business, especially in banking and money lending. In Yemen, life was much harder. Before the Ottomans took full control in 1872, Jews faced strict laws. In some cases, Jewish orphans were taken from their families and raised as Muslims. When Ottoman rule began, some of the harshest rules ended, but heavy taxes and daily hardships remained. Because of this, many Yemeni Jews moved to Jerusalem in the late 1800s. As anti-Semitism increased in Europe later in the 19th century, the Ottoman government faced new challenges. In 1881, officials announced that Jewish immigrants could live in many parts of the empire, but not in Palestine. This decision was based on fears of political trouble in that region. Around the same time, the Jewish Millet went through changes. In 1865, a written constitution was created for the Jewish community. It explained how the community should be governed and set up elected councils. At first, ordinary community members gained more influence, but this did not last. Religious leaders slowly regained control, and problems such as corruption weakened the system. The chief rabbi, known as the Hahambuz, remained an important leader. He acted as both the religious and civil head of Jews in Istanbul. Jews living in other cities often had more freedom to manage their local affairs. During the 19th century, anti-Semitism became more visible in many parts of the region. Violence broke out in several cities. Jews were attacked in places like Baghdad, Tripoli, and Tunis. Synagogues were damaged, homes were burned, and many communities lived in fear. One of the most famous events from this time was the Damascus affair. Jews in Damascus were falsely accused of killing a Christian priest. Many were arrested and tortured, and some were killed. After pressure from Jewish leaders in Europe, the remaining prisoners were released, but the event caused deep and lasting fear. By the late 19th century, most Jews in the Ottoman Empire lived in its European lands. As the empire lost control of these areas, Jewish communities came under new Christian governments. In places like Bosnia, Greece, Bulgaria, and Serbia, Ottoman rule ended, and the number of Jews inside the empire became smaller. Even with these struggles, Jewish culture remained strong. Many Jewish communities continued to run their own schools, synagogues, charities, and businesses. Over time, Jewish leadership was placed under the Hahambuz, who handled matters such as marriage, inheritance, taxes, and keeping order. Salonica shows this history clearly. For centuries, it was the center of Jewish life in the empire. After Jews were expelled from Spain, Sephardic Jews became the largest group in the city. They built close communities around synagogues, and Jewish organizations managed most parts of daily life. Because of this, Salonica functioned almost like a self-governing Jewish city. The Jewish presence in Salonica was so strong that even after the Ottoman Empire collapsed, many people still thought of it as a Jewish city rather than a Greek or Turkish one. Some even called it the New Jerusalem because Jewish traditions, especially keeping the Sabbath, were followed so carefully. After World War I, not all Jewish leaders believed Palestine was the only possible future homeland. In Salonica, ideas about Jewish self-rule were openly discussed. A printer and merchant named Zevi used newspapers to share debates about Ottoman identity, socialism, and Zionism. In 1919, his son even suggested Jewish self-government in Salonica to the League of Nations.